So on these beer cans, I've got myself in budgie smugglers, walking into a wedding, cracking a whip. So that outfit actually starts where I wear a priest costume, which was borrowed initially off Nell from the Sassies.
Oh, yeah?
Never returned it. Well, I gave her a case of beer for it, I think.
Oh, she'd be more than happy with that.
But that wedding that's actually on the beer can turned up to the prep, and the bride's mum, Beck's mum, she was so mortified that she thought her daughter had booked a priest.
Hilarious.
For the ceremony, and the mum was absolutely blown up.
So we should say, obviously, welcome back.
Welcome back to another episode.
Another episode.
An unnumbered.
Of an undisclosed number. Although the trick is, of course, new clothes.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be a copycat with the Sunnies. I'm just a little bit dusty.
Yeah,
these
shady.
lights.
Shady. Yeah, I had to drive his car here today.
These lights are a bit
Obnoxious for you.
Yeah. But no, shout out to Shout Brewing for the 5th birthday party yesterday.
Yeah, nice one.
The reason I'm a little dusty, and also just a bit of branding.
Yeah. He said, I brought some beers, and I was like, oh, great. And then my mind ticked over, and I went, they're your fucking beers, aren't they? With your face all over them. And he goes, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Supplied by Shout Brewing.
Yes. Lovely. Cheers.
Are you right? You're going to be right with that? You're going to throw up?
Hair of the dog.
Yeah, very good.
I don't know.
So we're back. So at time of recording, while you slurp your beer and try not to throw up, at the time of recording, we've released one. A second one will be out tomorrow.
And we haven't been cancelled as of yet.
Not yet.
So.
Some of those other episodes aren't out yet, though, so anything could happen.
Yes.
But yeah, did you receive any feedback on episode 1?
Yeah. Everybody seems to think you're a real bossy prick. So.
We just talked about in the car how at one stage I said, I'm not going to be fucking pushed around by you, mate, and then spent the entire time telling you what to do, which is pretty standard. I think the same thing I said to you, I was talking to some mates just last week, and I said, oh, have you blokes listened to my fucking podcast yet? And one of them said, mate, I listen to you telling me what to do every time we're on the phone or we play a video game or we're in person. I don't need to listen to it in a podcast. And I went, man, fair enough.
Well, I didn't realise until I listened back to it.
What a prick I am.
Yeah, what this relationship actually
Oh,
is.
it's not. Don't worry, it's not just this one. It's heaps of relationships I've got. There's people out there now going, me too. Like an abusive uncle.
Yeah. No, I don't know that I'm a big fan anymore.
Don't worry. Nearly everybody that's listening, my bookings will drop off, friends will disappear.
Yeah. No, that was some feedback.
I'll stop getting invited to soiree. I don't get invited to soirees anyway.
No, that was some feedback. People saying, aren't you worried that your couples will be a bit turned off if you're talking shit about them on a podcast? And I said, nah, I think they're enjoying it. Well, it's couples that are writing in with the stories anyway.
Yeah, and look, we're not, like I said, I've said it heaps of times, I'll say it again, but,
it's
just
not
because...
like you to repeat yourself
I know. It's also the same...
I'm not going to bang the fucking table as much as I like.
Turns out you can't hear it anyway, so...
Chip me about something
else.
else.
The same bloke who said, I have to listen to you shouting down a microphone every time we play video games, was also the bloke. I said, I don't know if you blokes have heard this story, but he goes, why don't you just tell us anyway, mate? You do that normally as well, so... I'm obviously a creature of habit. I don't even know what I was going to tell you then anyway.
Oh, I do have something that you'll be able to chip me about. It's
good.
How obnoxiously loud I swallow. And this will be great for the podcast because they're only listening. Ready?
He's an obnoxiously loud swallower, folks. You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm. It's good, isn't it?
I mean, I don't want to,
No, you say what you want to say.
Correlation isn't causation. I don't want to say, anything about that, really.
Yeah. I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, you didn't even think about it. So talking about feedback, I did have another friend message me and say, and he's actually the friend that we discussed who used to try and make a profit out of us. Yeah. He said, I've got a hot take for you. Stop saying you're throwing someone under the bus. Apparently we said that a lot last time.
And probably hot takes too.
Yeah, hot takes. Don't worry. I'm going to keep saying it because I've got fucking hoops.
Yeah. No, fuck him.
And you know what else? Lincoln's forgotten the fucking timer again.
Oh, Lincoln. Shout out to Vauxhall.
Vauxhall.
Vauxhall Media.
Great, excellent videographer, photographer, podcast studio.
Love it.
He's just a bit how you going with the timer. And it's not really his problem because he's out there with a timer. It's us in here that go, how long have we been talking for?
How does that fucking help us? Oh, no.
It's counting down, mate. Leave it in. Yeah, any other feedback?
No, well, we were going to only do this once a fortnight, but people like listening to us talk shit, so we're actually going to throw one of these out
Yeah, it was going to be
once a week now.
It was going to be once a fortnight on a Friday, and it's suddenly become every Tuesday weekly.
You got a bit excited, didn't you?
I did get excited. I did get excited. Well, and Lincoln was too on the ball.
Yeah.
I was, we were waiting for a bit of production. It'd probably take a while, and we had all the episodes pretty much within a couple of days. So, once we got them, it was like, well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. To be honest, I'm filthy. I've had to wait a week to put episode 2 out.
I know. Yeah, I was keen to get it pumping, but oh well, we're here now.
Podcast as well.
Yeah. Leave it in.
Yeah, I'm going to try and cut that one out as well. I don't know that. Oh, actually, I had a bit of feedback, just a bit of self-reflection.
Yeah.
I'm going to burp now. Your beer's broken, mate. It's
Giving you gas.
burp. Yeah, it's giving me gas. That hardly ever happens.
It'll be the beer.
Yeah, not me.
No.
Not some fucking animal.
Yeah.
No, so
Your cat will be playing up next.
I came prepared this time. I've got a list of notes, just little words and one-liners to remind me to talk about things. And the last thing on the list says Kreischer, which it's a bloke's name.
Oh, right.
He's a
devil?
comedian. Him and another bloke do a podcast called Two Bears, One Cave, funnily enough. But he is renowned for constantly interrupting not only the people he's speaking to, but interrupts himself to tell another story. And I watched the episode and I was like, fuck, you're just Kreischer, mate. All you're doing is shouting over him.
Yes, I did notice that.
Yeah. Oh, everybody noticed, mate. Don't worry.
Good.
Everybody noticed. Go, oh, yeah, that's that guy. We know him.
I don't know why I was too polite to say something, but no, I will tell you to get fucked today.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right. So, what do you got on what do you got on your list? Where
Well, the other thing I was going to say is back in the self-reflection thing. So I'm out of the t-shirt.
This is not therapy.
Yes, it is. It is because I got to watch and see myself, and I got a lot of issues with you people, and now you're going to hear about them. So I'm out of the t-shirt because I look like I should be putting Han Solo in carbonite in those fucking. You don't get that, do you?
No,
I
I'm
look
a
like
bit
Jabba the
young.
Hutt, mate.
Oh yeah.
In the big black t-shirt, so I've turned up in a big flowing white one in the hope that it doesn't, make me look quite as fucking rotund. And the other one was I knew I had a bit of a lisp, but I didn't realise it was that Jamie Oliver massive tongue that can barely fit inside your head lisp. And I watched it and I look like Jamie Oliver, like the big swollen tongue that just barely is contained.
It's funny that you're the one with the lisp. For those playing at home. Yeah, same name, but very different lifestyles.
I think everybody knows that, mate.
Well, I don't know.
So I should have said, because we talked about this where we just assumed everybody was watching, but it turns out most people are just listening.
Yeah.
So last week, obviously in the kind of fit, kind of fat black t-shirt, which is I was talking about, this time in just a big white linen muumuu.
And I've still gone for the muscle tee, but I've left the muscles at home both times. So, yeah.
Yeah, all right, what do you got on? You got something? I've got heaps of things, but I don't want them to be all mine. I don't want to use them all up now.
Yeah, run out of content.
Yeah, correct.
Well,
hang
actually,
on.
somebody did. Yeah,
Really?
no, talk over me. Go.
I'm just going to interrupt you, just really quickly. We should have done this at the start. We'll do it really quickly. Just mentioning Two Monty's charity event.
Yep.
July 26th at the Anchorage.
Well done. You remember the
on
day.
fire.
Yeah. When's the auction?
Valentine's Day.
Nailed it. Supporting Mark Hughes Foundation.
Supporting Mark
so
Hughes
100%
Foundation.
of proceeds from the charity auction. So the entire bid, highest bid, that money gets donated to Mark Hughes, and then the couple gets the wedding, which we're still putting together. But
We are, but
it
by the
is
time this
growing
comes
rapidly.
out, you should have seen a bunch of stuff online.
Actually, we do have it. We could do a few shout outs there to some new vendors that have jumped on.
Ink and Snow. live wedding painting.
Oh, yeah.
Which is slightly different to live wedding painting that we have. So we have two types of live wedding painting. One is like a big like portrait.
Of the couple. Like
With Therese from Live Wedding Painting on canvas, portrait on canvas. But Lish from Ink and Snow does these little, like, really quick, really clever watercolor portraits of guests at the wedding. So similar, same but different kind of thing.
We got Tanya on from Chic Artistry for the hair.
I think I said that.
You might have said that one already.
Oh, we can confirm Elegant Metal is confirmed. I'm not going to use that phrase that I've used too many times, but we mentioned them in another podcast. But they, I think they had a potential booking, which obviously you take a paid work over giving it away, which we completely understand.
Yeah.
But I think they're.
And Liv from Smile Labs, so she does the couple's teeth whitening. I definitely mentioned her in the podcast before I asked her, and I rang her this week to say, I don't know if you heard us talking, but no pressure. And she's on board again. She's great.
But again, and by the time this comes out, this might be completely different, but we are still looking for, possibly a wedding dress. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. We'll cut that short. That's because we're mentioning it every time. You get the idea. Check out our socials, not the podcast social, although there might be a bit of that on there. But the two Monties Instagram page, all the information will be getting fed out through there. But the package is pretty much set now, apart from one or two little things.
I reckon this auction will crack the 200 grand mark for total money raised at the two Monties auctions.
I didn't know what 200 grand you were going to say. I was like, no one's bidding 200, and if the package isn't worth 200, again, don't be frightened by the size of our package.
I think we're sitting at about 170 grand we've raised over the last 4 events.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yes.
Should do. All right, sorry, you've got a list on our Trello board there of topics of something.
So somebody actually messaged and asked us both why did we become celebrants? Which we get asked all the time.
And my standard answer is because I'm a loudmouth. Basically, I'd been to weddings that I thought sucked. I'm a loudmouth, so I'd emceed a number of friends' weddings. So I knew I could do that. I did public speaking and stuff at school, so that wasn't really an issue. I'd thought about it but couldn't be bothered doing the study. And then life circumstances meant that I became a stay-at-home dad, which was my choice, and because basically my wife liked her work and got paid more than me, and I did not like my work and wasn't getting paid that much. So
didn't you put the lights on the?
Shut up! No, that was after. If I was still doing that job, I'd probably still be doing it because that paid very well.
Yeah.
But suddenly was at home with an 18-month-old and newborn, and went, I'll do that study and just pick up a gig here and there. So I've got some beer money, so I don't have to go, can I have $50 to go to the pub? And it grew pretty quickly. At the time, hooked up with the Sassy Celebrants crew, which was pretty instrumental in picking me up a heap more work. It's grown from there, and now it's a proper job-ish.
Well, full time, but we still have plenty of time for
doing
shit like making a podcast.
Kissed on the dick, mate. I still get paid a full-time wage, but get to fuck around and do this. And people, when I'm at a wedding, they'll go, do you enjoy your work? And I go, yep.
Please I'm
at work right now.
May I have another beer?
Yeah. What about you?
I thought it was like Joey on Friends, 10-minute online course.
Everybody thinks that.
Yeah, definitely not the case. So that was a bit of a rude shock when I realised it's a 12-month Cert 4 TAFE course, essentially.
Yeah.
And a couple of grand. Did it initially to marry my brother and his wife. That was wedding number one, thinking that, it was kind of a joke to start with. So do the course, marry him, but then very quickly realised that there's a,
It was better than slinging coffee at a coffee shop.
Better than fisting cows and wanking bulls, which is what I used to do. Which is the not as polite way to say AI technician.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Now I just do that for fun.
Yeah. I remember when I was at school, this little, boys shit talk about, your dad fucking blah, blah, blah. And this kid was always real mouthy. And he goes, your dad fucking, I can't remember what he said. His dad was an AI.
Yeah.
I go, your dad's elbow deep in a fucking cow, mate. Like, what? I don't know what you're slinging shit at me for.
No, so I had quite the weird career path progression from farm to cafes to weddings, but absolutely love it. And
Well, I was the same. I went from trade sales, selling things to electricians in industrial environments, to this.
So no, I think always. Well, I thought I was pretty funny. So
It's what people, when you have meetings with couples, if they want an initial meeting and they go, oh, what can you do? Like, I'd like to tell you I'm funny. I think sometimes I'm funny, but it's not for me to say. Like, I'm not going to tell you I'm the funniest person alive.
About 20 times a day, I catch myself laughing at my jokes. You're fucking hilarious.
Now I'll be able to say, I've got a podcast. You can go and listen to that, and then probably never hear from them again.
Yeah, no,
so,
I think the bookings are going to slide right off.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're looking for sponsorship for the podcast. Hopefully, just to fill that hole.
Yeah,
as it were.
Nah, love it. Best gig. And just keeps changing.
Yeah,
like. Especially on the outfit front, that's been a pretty fun roller coaster.
Yeah, started you can get away with that a bit.
So on these beer cans, I've got myself in budgie smugglers, walking into a wedding, cracking a whip. So that outfit actually starts where I wear a priest costume, which was borrowed initially off Nell from the Sassies.
Oh yeah,
never returned it. Well, I gave her a case of beer for it, I think.
She'd be more than happy with that.
But that wedding that's actually on the beer can, I turned up to the prep, and the bride's mum. Beck's mum, she was so mortified that she thought her daughter had booked a priest.
Hilarious.
For the ceremony, and the mum was absolutely blown up. So then I had to show the mother what I was actually wearing underneath. So I've lifted the priest thing up, and I just got budgies underneath, and she was instantly like, it was so much better. I thought when I walked into the room, she was blowing up that that I was wearing budgies, but that was actually So that was a couple of years ago, and then from there I got into arseless chaps. Same thing. Had an all black.
That's
theme.
That's an item of clothing too, by the way. Not chaps with no ass. Well, there's a fellow with no bottom.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
and then I did a gold chain bondage outfit.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah. In the wank bank, that one.
Mate, in contrast, I've just started wearing pretty much exclusively Air Force Ones, which I now have about 20 pairs, much to anybody that walks into my bedroom's dismay. They go, what are all these shoes?
So now it's if people they do get confused, but like you say, it's very clear when you Google us who's who.
Yeah. That's what I say with some people. Like I think I mentioned it in a previous episode when, were you after pants or no pants? Because I'm never going to have no pants on.
I'm going to start offering a discount, I think, for any time I can wear no pants.
Yeah,
love it.
Maybe I'll start.
Especially in summer.
Yeah. Obviously,
love that breeze.
Mentioned it previously, but the bane of my existence as a fat bloke in a suit is summer.
Now, I don't know when this podcast's coming out, but just on a weather forecast, it's going to be a pretty stinking hot one in the Hunter Valley this weekend, and probably 10 degrees hotter at Adams Peak.
Listen, I won't hear you slander Adams Peak one more time, mate. It's outrageous.
We love you.
We love Adams Peak. we love the team there.
Yeah.
I've done probably, in terms of if there was a pie graph of locations I've done weddings, obviously apart from Goosewing where I do some elopements.
Use a pie graph.
Yeah. Hurtful. Jesus Christ. But I'll probably, apart from Goosewing where I obviously do a couple of elopements, 1 or 2 a week up there. But, weekend weddings, I reckon I've done more at Adams Peak than I've done anywhere. One of my favourite places.
It is good.
But it's hot.
Oh, speaking
when it's hot, it's hot.
Yes, it is. But also...
But so's most of Pecolban, so...
We spoke in the car, Plan Bs. That's on someone's list.
Plan Bs.
Adams Peak... have absolute cracker for
Plan B, Plan C. They've got it covered.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's pissing down there. You're still going to have the same backdrop as if you were out on the grass.
So what we mean by Plan B is if you've got a wedding location, you need a second that's outside. You should always, without fail, have a Plan B. To not have a Plan B is wild. Some people I know have this mental image of what their wedding's going to look like, and when the day comes and it is not practical to do that, they kind of fall apart and demand to push forward. That is mental.
Yes,
you should have a Plan B, so when you've dragged your nan out from the home for the day, she's not sitting in pouring rain or 58 degrees.
And it's funny because you think people don't mind, but actually when you're away getting your photos done, they are talking shit about you.
Everybody hates it. Like, if it's raining, why would you want all your guests wet for the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Have a plan B. Even if it's, I was at a venue I think I can say because it was beautiful. It was Crinklewood.
Yep.
Who at this stage doesn't have an outdoor, an undercover space for reception.
Yep.
But when it looks a bit inclement, the day I was there, our good friends at Beavis had supplied a dance floor and this beautiful clear roofed gazebo marquee.
Yep. Nice.
It was under the trees, looked amazing. But that was the plan B. They went, oh, well, what if it is raining? We better get this gazebo. That's a plan B.
Yeah.
You can be in the same location.
Perfect.
Just have another plan.
Here we are giving tips and advice again on the podcast.
I know. I didn't even want it to be about weddings mostly.
Well, what do you want to talk about if not weddings? That's all we know.
Anything.
That's all we know.
I know. I know.
And we don't even really know.
I've got hot takes on heaps of fucking things.
Oh, deja vu.
Yeah. Here's one. Oh no. What about listener, people, client, customer, bloody Instagram people sending in things? You've got that list there. I've only got the list of things I want to talk about. Maybe we should talk about other things.
Let me have a look.
Right. While you look, I'll maybe this could be a segue because I've got a one-liner here, which I used at a. I'm hesitant to say. I'm not going to use anybody's names here, but
Is this the one I messaged you?
No. So this is just because we asked people to send in any one-liners or funny things they've heard, and this is one. This isn't an original joke, but it's just that it's worked heaps of times. But some friends were getting married, and the bloke who was the best man had been friends with the groom for many, many years, and everybody was expecting that he would get up and make this wonderful speech. I don't even know if I say this because I know it's a bit of a sore point for the bride, which is I'm not laughing about, but he got up, probably might have had a couple, and said, so just been on the phone, there's a weather warning come through, everybody. So everybody just watch out. There's predicted solid 7 inches for tonight. And then just like mic dropped and walked off, which was a family joke in his family. Yeah. And he thought that would be hilarious, and the bride and groom did not.
Oh, God.
And so then his brother got married and I was the MC, and it was my opening line at the reception, and that table with those people in it were just like, do not make that joke. And then another bloke out of that group got married, and there was a very distinct nobody say that joke at the reception. Like, we're over it. We don't want to hear it, which I get. I think it's a funny joke, but I'm also well removed where I can look and go, If I was in it, I might not be so amused.
No, I got some footage back recently from and I was waiting for it. I just knew it was going to be gold. So Kayla from Luna Wild shot it, and she'd actually sent through the photos, and it was like the reaction shots of when I dropped this one-liner in the reception. I think I told you about it. But
don't worry, I don't hear it then.
Jaws hitting the floor. I'm telling you anyway.
Yeah.
I got a mic too.
Yeah.
Like all these photos of Jaws hitting the floor. Anyway, so Rach and Cody were the couple, and in the reception, a couple of beautiful speeches, and her dad had just done a speech, and in his speech he said to them, they actually bought a house in the same street, so a couple of doors up the road. And he said, I'd love to offer you guys some advice, but I can't because you're already nailing everything. You're doing so well at life. He said, but I do want you to know if you ever need anything, I'm only 2 doors up the road. And I got on the mic after and said, thanks. Great way to start the speech is give me a cheer. Throw him back. I just want you to know, mate, that if she's ever screaming daddy at 2 a.m, she's sure as shit not calling out for you. And it was just like, I kind of played it over in my head for the whole, for the duration of his speech, and I was like, this is a risky one, but it landed, and I was so glad it did. Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But no, great footage. So
and I think that's there's often a few things that I might throw out at a wedding, and a bit the same. You sit there, you probably do exactly like you just said. I do the same thing. I'll, introduce a speaker.
Yeah.
And then stand off to the side and just listen to their speech. And I'm basically listening for...
You just need one line.
Just one thing that I can
100%.
come in and, I'm not there to do a whole comedy show. You just throw in a little one-liner and introduce the next person.
Yeah.
But that's my whole time is spent there going, and then you hear the thing and you go, that's it. That's the thing I'm going to pick on.
Yeah.
So and this isn't at that level, but I did one the other day where the dad got up and talked about how the bride and her sister, he came home from work one day. They had a brand new car, and the decision to buy a trampoline came about when he came home, and both girls were like on the bonnet of the car, just bouncing up and down on the brand new car. And he was like, so we bought a trampoline the next day. And I got up and I just said, Pete, you're obviously a wonderful father, because I can tell you right now, mate, I've got 2 little boys, and if I came home and they were jumping on the bonnet of the car, the answer wouldn't have been, I'll buy you a trampoline.
Actually, speaking of cars, I had a so this is probably something we'll talk about. Best bits of vows, ninja vows, whatever. She'd written it, and because I print them before the wedding, so I'd seen it. And
Before you go ahead, tell everybody what ninja vows are.
Ninja vows. So I get the couple to write a sentence for their partner to say to them at the start of their vows. So the idea is that when you stand up there, you're going to be shitting bricks about your vows. You say the legal words. Then the next thing you're reading is something you've never seen before, but your partner is...
So the partner's written it for you to read.
Yep. So you're getting stitched up, and you just have to say or promise or whatever they've written there for you.
Right.
Generally, it's something that's very relatable.
Yeah.
So you're basically picking out their flaws and throwing them,
throwing
them under the bus with something. Anyway, so I printed these vows out, and then when I turned up at the prep, the groom was talking about the new car, and all the mates were talking about it. Very proud of his recent purchase. I think it was a Lexus or something, so a bit of coin.
Yeah. Fancy Toyota.
Yeah, so I'd heard this chat, but already knowing that she had pranged the brand new car without him knowing in the week of the wedding. So I'm there biting my tongue. He's going on about the car and how much she loves all this sort of stuff. And then in her vows, she said she basically...
made him forgive her for...
Yeah.
Oh, hilarious.
And saying, that whole half of everything's, we're now sharing, we share everything, which means half the damage bill to repair the new car is yours too. And his face just dropped. He thought she was joking. Definitely not.
Hilarious.
And so she had to sneakily get the car repaired for, a couple of grand the week of the wedding without him knowing, and then put it in the vows. And
so it was already done. Yeah, it had been repaired.
It had been repaired, but it was just like a very cunning way to be like, all right, in the interest of being honest and open about everything.
Yeah.
Sort of prang the car, and now you can't do anything about it.
Excellent.
Classic.
You got any other one-liners in there?
Actually the first time I ever did ninja vows, this is back to Beck and Luke's wedding, which is where the budgie started. I didn't even have it written down. Anyway, they went all out because I explained what it was, and they were like, all right, well, we're going pretty wild with this. And it was a pretty wild crowd, but she had to promise to him to give it to him twice a night and 3 times every morning.
Yeah, right.
So that went down very well with the guests.
So he'd written that for her to say?
He'd written that for her to say, but she'd got him back and said, so he had to say, out of all the nicknames you call me, babe, darling, whatever, my favourite is when you scream daddy. So that's and that kind of set the tone, because as soon as I posted about that, people, oh yeah, we want to do that too.
Yeah.
It's almost always bedroom chat.
Yeah,
which just makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
It just takes,
I've never done it, but I've been considering
the reason I do it knocks the nerves out of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they stuff up the boring legal
it's a
words.
good plan.
But then, and they launch into it does matter, they'll have to. But in terms of the delivery, doesn't matter if they're sort of choking on it or whatever, on the legal bits. When they get to the nice stuff, if they've had a laugh beforehand, and every time they think they're going to choke up and not be able to get through it, but then afterwards they're like, holy shit, that was so easy.
Yeah. Well, I say that to everybody. You think it's going to be terrible, and it'll just happen, and then you'll go, what was I worried about?
Yeah. 2.5 minutes to go.
Keep going, because I was going to mention this earlier. So by now you'll have heard episode 4, hopefully, which is actually, I don't know if you realise this, but it's only about 22 minutes, because I think we cut that story out.
Which one?
Oh, there was about the Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It just wasn't that entertaining, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And we cut it out. And then, so episode 4, hopefully you've heard it by now. It's just me ranting for about, out of the 22 minutes, about 18 of them.
Yeah, and I said before we started recording that one that I didn't want to do another one because I'd run out of shit to say.
Yeah,
so I
so,
very
yeah.
much am just sitting there doing nothing.
So look behind the curtain again here is that obviously we record a bunch at a time. And so the first time and probably today we'll do 4. So by the time you get to hour 2,
yeah,
things are starting to run dry. So hopefully we've got enough on our plate this time that the episode 8 won't be 15 minutes. Well, that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so apologies if I don't know who the fuck would care.
No.
So apologies if you're a bit annoyed that it was 20 minutes. You'll probably be pretty happy. Thank fuck.
I would be.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be over.
Yeah, I know. What are we closing it out? What have I got? Have I got anything out here? What am I going to close out with?
A bit of Ron Burgundy?
No, hang on. No, here you go. I'm going to tell you one more story, and this will be the closer out. So I've got a, it just says, you already know this because I texted our group chat and went, can you fucking believe this? So I did a wedding a week or so ago. And after I did the wedding, somebody's auntie, and she was like funny, and kind of this middle-aged lady. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm fucking middle-aged. She was a bit older than me. But she came and she said, I looked at you and I said to my sister, I can't believe they've paid Kyle Sandilands to come out and do their wedding. This is unbelievable. He's just got that $20 million contract in here. And I go, me? Am I Kyle Sandilands? And she goes, yeah, you look exactly like him. And I go, that's the most insulting thing anybody has ever said to me. I'm fat and I've got a beard. That's about as close as it gets. That is so insulting. And then she kept saying it for the rest of the day. She thought she was hilarious. And the sister came up and apologised and said, I told her not to say it. I told her not to say it.
Maybe she heard you calling me the fucking straw man from the Wizard of Oz and she thought, get him back.
Yeah,
so,
that's one of our most popular clips from last week.
It was. And also, that partly, I've currently got my least favourite haircut in history because I'm on my way to getting a fully permed mullet. So
is this why you're wearing this hat?
That's why I got the hat on.
Right.
So it's a bit,
yeah, right.
There's a bit going on here for those.
I've seen it look worse than that.
But yeah, no, right. There's a transition period, and I'm in that. And
you're transitioning.
My mate Randy, who's a barber, she asked me if I'm currently wearing hats at weddings, and I said yes. And then next thing, she just fucking grabs it and chomps it off.
At that same wedding, this is probably part of the Kyle Sandilands thing. I turned up. I didn't know whether it was going to be inside or outside, and it was outside, and it was really fucking hot. And as soon as I got out of the car, I went, "Oh, I'm deeply regretting not bringing a hat." And so I went up and talked to the groom, and we were talking about it, and he said, so he owns this mechanical business, Ace Mechanical. I'm happy to give him a shout out.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, mate, I've got a heap of hats here. And so they've got these, like, these trucker hats, but they're a bit country, the front's quite big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't wear that in the ceremony, mate. And he's like, oh, yeah, no worries. And then I walked out and I set up my gear, and it was like 2:00 and it was so hot. And I went,
I'm wearing it.
do you reckon I can wear that hat? He goes, nothing would make me happier than if you wear an Ace Mechanical hat during the ceremony.
How good.
So good. So I'm wearing this massive trucker hat, coat, the whole 9 yards, massive trucker hat. And I was like, this is the best. I'd wear a trucker hat at every wedding if I could. So I'm also transitioning. I've gone now from RMs to Air Force Ones. I'll hit a trucker hat shortly. Anyway.
And that's like anybody that is transitioning is going, that's not fucking transitioning.
Yeah. No, I just said it to you when you said about your hair, and you went, oh, I'm transitioning to, and I went, oh, you're transitioning, are you? But it just went over your head like a pair of scissors.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Now you can watch it back.
I tune out a bit.
Yeah, don't worry. Everybody does. It's because I'm obnoxious.
It's like white noise, but not soothing.
Goodbye. Cut it, Lincoln. We're done now.
Oh, yeah. Good one. Oh.